Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Video Games back with another cool arcade game video. If you've been watching part 1 and part 2 of our video on this Williams Spanish Eyes, then you know that we're kind of detailing some of the work that we're doing on it. Now, we're not doing a full restore on it or anything like that. We're just getting it where it's more presentable, nicer, and that it works. So in the first video we showed working on like the back box. The second video we showed working inside the cabinet and getting it where it's actually up and running, although it still needs some adjustments and stuff. So today my brother started working on the cabinet a little bit. If you saw the other videos, you saw that the cabinet's real faded and messed up. So what we've decided to do is, we don't mind that it's got some wear on it. Like if you look at the front here, see the wear there? That's not that big of a deal, but what was really standing out was that the purple was also faded. So if you look on the back box here, you can see those. Some of them were faded even lighter than that. So what we've decided to do is, that would make it look a lot better, since the orange is still pretty decent, is that we'd go through and repaint the purple. So it's really kind of freshened it up a little bit. We're not done yet, but it's making it look a lot better. You can see on this side we've got the stripe done, but we don't have the little boxes done yet. And on the back box here, we've got this stripe done. Started on that one, but don't have the little boxes yet. But you know, just a little bit of something to make it look a little nicer, and it'll make it look pretty fresh. It'll still have a little bit of wear on it, so that it doesn't give it that you know, brand new paint look. But since it's not faded, since the purple's not faded and the orange isn't faded, it'll look pretty cool. So that's what we're going to do with the cabinet, and we'll shoot another video whenever we start messing with the playfield. Alright folks, we finished up the purple paint. I think it made it look a little better. Again, we're not trying to make it look perfect, we're just trying to make it, we wanted to get rid of how it was all faded. We didn't like how that looked, so took care of that. So I think the cabinet's about done actually. We'll clean it up a little bit better, and we'll clean up the front door and stuff. Still got some wear there around the start button, but we kind of like them a little worn. I mean, it doesn't look that bad if that's how time has left it. You know, if it's just completely filthy, or if it's really faded where it just looks horrible, we'll redo it. But I think just doing the purple was kind of cool, kind of brought it back together. And again, you know, I don't want to hear any complaints that this thing doesn't look perfect, because it's never going to look perfect. And something I haven't mentioned yet, Spanish Eyes is not a really desirable game. We're just doing this because we like pretty much any game. We just like fixing them up and then selling them. So we're spending more time on this than most people normally would, because the game's not that desirable. But we got it in, and it's a kind of cool game, so we're going to work on it. So I stripped everything off the playfield except the dirt. So all of that's still there, so I just figured I'd document how it looks right now. And again, we won't be making this perfect or brand new or anything. So there are some guys that can do really high-end, really nice work on these. Frankly, I don't have the skill to do it, but I am going to do what I can to make it look a little better. So there's really bad wear around this bottom pop bumper. Now a lot of that's dirt, but that's bad wear. If you see the yellow peeking out there, that's because not all of that was that original blue. I'm going to have to look at some pictures to see what that's even supposed to look like, and not sure how we're going to fix that yet. We may just paint like a border around it so it looks nicer. Everything else is pretty decent, it's just faded. You've got a pretty bad little wear spot there where the flipper was dragging. Looks like some of that's been fixed, but it's this bushing is suspect. This of course we'll have to rebuild the flippers, but the flipper where it goes through the pinball machine, I mean through the playfield, there's a little nylon bushing that holds it up in the air, and if that's messed up, or if this is bent or something, it'll drag the playfield and scrape the paint there. It's not right now, so they may have already fixed it, but we'll look at that. Of course, just more dirt over here, more dirt, more dirt. You've also got around the inserts, there's a little bit of wear, but we're going to leave that because it's not enough to worry about. This thing again is not going to look perfect, so anything you make look perfect will kind of stand out. Another insert with some wear. I don't know if we'll re-ink the black on that or not. There's a little wear coming out of the saucer here in the middle, a little wear over here. And then up here at the top 3 pop bumpers, you got the same problem. Bad wear all the way around it. Where the ball, every time it gets popped, is just divoted out a little bit of paint. You know, wear like that right there, that's because the ball has hit that area probably 50,000 times. It's literally probably that high. Again, that's kind of a tough one. I don't know what we're going to do there. And we may not repaint all of this and fix all of this. We may just fix some of it to make it look a little better. So we'll see. And we'll see how it looks after we clean it up too. Up here, everything's pretty good. There's the ball track where, you know, every ball that gets shot rolls along that same line, so it wears through the clear coat, but we're going to leave that. We'll clean it up a little bit. And so that's the main wear. It's mainly around the pop bumpers. A little bit of wear there. There's some flipper drag here that we may or may not even worry about. And then really bad wear around this bottom pop bumper too. So that's kind of the condition that it's in. The colors, in my opinion, still look pretty good. Oh, I guess I could just turn on the lights too. A good cleaning will go a long way in making it look a lot better, but we'll see if we can get some paint on it too, make it look a little better. And then the back glass, of course, is in horrible shape, so that's gonna be quite a undertaking trying to touch up any of that. Whenever we get to that, I'll show you why that's not even very easy to do. It's basically whenever you repaint any of the color on the back glass, you can see the brush strokes, so it ain't gonna be pretty, folks, but we'll see what we can do. So there you go. Next thing I'll do is I will clean this playfield down with some rubbing alcohol or something, and some magic erasers, just lightly. You don't want, with the magic erasers, you don't want to go too crazy because you'll start eating the paint off. It's basically very fine sandpaper. It'll also mess up the sheen, which you can get some of that back with the wax. But all right, so there you go. Through the magic of YouTube, the next time you see this shot, the playfield will be clean, or cleaner. All right, folks, so we did our initial little cleaning of it. Basically, we went over it with magic eraser and got it about as clean as possible. Again, we're not top of the line on this stuff. There's some guys that can make this look sick, but I think it came out pretty nice though. The colors are nice, which is kind of amazing because it's so old and it's got so much wear around the pop bumpers. You can see that wear is pretty bad. I think the first thing I'm going to do is go back in and put the lines back in and just see how that makes it look. You can see there's still a kind of a wear pattern there that you can see. The camera is actually kind of making it look worse than it looks in person, but still got that and still got that. But it cleaned up pretty good. And of course, once the plastic's thrown on it, it'll look a lot nicer too. So what I'm going to do is get a paint pen, a black paint pen, and see if I can bring some of those lines back that are missing where the paint has worn away. And then that'll kind of give me some boxes where I can tell, okay, this needs to be yellow, this needs to be white, this needs to be blue. And there's like 4 or 5 different colors though that are missing. So we shall see, who knows. But that's where it's at right now. Be back shortly. Alright, so I inked in the black lines. Again, I am not an artist. I wish I knew an artist that could come by and take care of this for me. But I added this kind of circle around it down here at the bottom that I'm going to make yellow. Or I guess I can make it any color, but it was originally yellow to kind of hide all that wear. And then I re-inked these. I couldn't resist because they were looking pretty, it was just obvious. You could see the cracks around the lens. And then up here I just inked in the lines again, which, you know, from a distance it really hides a lot of the wear. This is a really busy looking playfield anyway, but luckily a lot of it's just geometric shapes, so it's easy to line back in. So I put the lines back in. About half of the guy's little guitar was missing. The lady's backside was missing. All looks pretty good though. Put the, I don't know, oh, this is the guy's hat. Put the end of the guy's hat back on. These big, like this circle here, the end of it was missing, and then over here, these two circles, the ends of them are missing. So once you add the lines back in, it looks a lot better, in my opinion. And now you could leave it like this. And again, I'm not doing a top end restoration, but you could leave it like this and it would be better than it was. But I'm going to try to add some of the color back in. So we'll see what we can do first. Of course, I have to put something down here because that looks horrible. We'll see how it comes out. It may still look horrible whenever I get done, but we'll figure it out. I can pretty much put any color down here. Yellow may not be a good idea because yellow is probably the hardest color to paint. Like, yellow is really thin and you have to put a bunch of coats on, and then it looks kind of runny, and it's just, at least the yellow I've got, it's hard to get a good yellow, so I'm going to make that some other color probably. If I can get a good match on like maybe that orange or something, I may do it in that. That'd probably look pretty good, but we shall see. So I'll paint in a color and keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully it comes out pretty good. Be back shortly. Okay, it is now about 3 hours later, and we put some paint on this sucker. I think it actually turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I still think the back glass is going to be a major problem, but we'll see what we can do with it. But the playfield's getting pretty decent, actually. Now you got to remember, we've got it completely stripped now. Once you add some of the things back on it, it'll cover up a bunch of the art and kind of blah, 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 blah. And it's been our experience that whenever people walk up to a machine, they don't really pay attention to whether or not little things have been repainted on the playfield. So usually most people don't even notice it. And then if you point it out to them and say, hey, did you notice that we repainted some of the playfield? It takes them a little while to even figure out where you're talking about. On this particular machine, since we had to paint so much right here by this pop bumper, that's going to stand out. They'll probably be able to notice that once they understand it. Something's been repainted, but we think it came out decent. That was the hardest part, I thought. Basically, I was able to get a ring around there, and I just, you know, it's all freehand. I'm not an artist, and I'm not very good at drawing or anything, but I just tried to make a fairly consistent ring around it, and then painted it green because I matched the green up here and got it pretty good. It looks a little darker because the coat went on kind of thin, so you're seeing a little bit of the wood underneath it. If I put another coat, it probably would have made it almost identical to that green, but that one went on pretty smooth, so I just left it. And then I touched up where the flipper drug a little bit there. One thing about this, whenever you repaint it, see how you can see the texture in the paint? The ideal way to do this would be to sand that down and get it smooth again, and then paint it again, and then sand it down and get it smooth again. But again, this is not a super desirable title, and that's a little bit beyond my skill set anyway. We're just trying to make this old beat up machine that, in my opinion, a lot of people probably would have parted. We're just trying to save it, make it look a little nicer. So again, we're not trying to represent this as really nice, but I think it came out pretty presentable. So that's always a problem whenever you repaint it. If you look, it's like that around the ring too. You can actually see like the brush strokes. I need to experiment with using some paint thinner, or since it's a just acrylic paint, I guess I could just use water and see if that thins it out enough to where it lays more flat or what. But one of these days I'll get around to that. So we did that, and we also touched up the green. You can kind of tell that has been repainted. And then there was a little section right there that was repainted. So again, whenever I show it off, it's obvious. But just glancing at it, I mean, you don't really know. You might think that you know, like, what is that? That almost looks like something that's been repainted, but it hasn't. You know, so not bad, we think. And then the 3 pop bumpers, I think, came out pretty nice. You remember there were rings, divots, basically all the way around them. And they are completely gone. Check that out. And remember, too, you play the game from back here. That's as close as you're going to get, folks. Looks pretty good. So I got lucky, and I actually had this pink color. It's like a flesh tone. I had that exact. So I got real lucky with that. I mean, it was like a dead-on match. So all of that I was able to paint back in. No problem. Yellow is always the toughest. See her skirt there? Her dress? See how you can obviously see where the yellow's been repainted? Yellow is a tough color to match and a tough color to get on and have it look good, in my opinion. You can see if you get real close, see the brush strokes and things. I repainted that. It only needed a little bit there, but I repainted that whole block just because it was fairly easy and made it look a little more uniform. But it's hard to get that color to perfectly match on a yellow. The little orange dots were a little more forgiving. A bunch of those have been repainted. Part of the guitar there was repainted because I don't know, I think that like the human eye just picks out certain colors and can tell discrepancies in colors a lot easier. Like yellow is a good example. But the orange was close enough for government work at least, and it ended up pretty decent. The blue's a little off. If you look, you can see here. See how you can see that the color's not quite perfect. Another problem you run into is if you get the color perfect, it won't work all over the playfield because like right here there's a lot of wear. See the wear around it? I could have just repainted that whole little block, I guess. Maybe I should have even done that. But and some of the other little blocks I painted, but it wasn't, since it was an entire block, you can't really see it as well. If you look at here, you can kind of see, and of course the sheen's different because I haven't put a clear coat on it yet. I'm going to spot clear it with some just some acrylic satin paint in a spray can, which actually I already did on the bottom. If you see how the sheen is similar, you can kind of tell where it stopped right there. This hasn't been painted. This was spray painted with clear. I basically did this area, this area, this area, and this area with clear, just, you know, real quick and dirty. Again, this is not a trailer queen. Okay, so the hat was repainted. Well, you saw it. There was just basically a half-inch divot all the way around most of these pop bumpers, and it is gone. If you look close enough, you'd find little mistakes where I didn't quite get it in right, but basically I just painted everything in. Oh, the cream color. This is kind of like a buttermilk, and then I added some brown to it to kind of dirty it up a little bit. These old games like this, the white, like this originally would have been white. That is nowhere near white now. I mean, it's brown basically. It's not even off-white. But the whole playfield has done that, and that's pretty consistent. Old machines like this, the white always just really yellows. It's not even close to white anymore. So if I would have painted that white, it would have just stuck out with like a sore thumb. So I've kind of got a pretty good little cream colored mix going there, and it worked out pretty good. And then after I painted it all in, I went back with the little ink pen and redid the lines that I had painted over, which was like pretty much most of them. So there you go. Really made this one look pretty decent, I think. Saved it. Now, again, not trying to say it's really nice, and there are people out there that can restore these things that would laugh at how bad this is, but I think it made it a lot more presentable. And once it's all waxed, once all of the new posts and rings and plastics and everything are on it, once there's glass on it, once you're standing back here playing it, I would bet you money most people, 95 out of 100, wouldn't even notice that those pop bumpers have been painted around. So I'm kind of surprised that it came out that decent. And the green here, I don't know, you know, I mean, the little top's going to hang over it a little bit. So we'll see how obvious it is after we get it back together. So what I'll do next, not tonight because it's late, I'll do it tomorrow, but we'll start waxing this, and we'll put it all back together, and then we'll shoot another little video once we get the playfield all back together, so you can see what the final outcome is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we finished putting everything back together. Of course, we put a nice healthy coat of wax on it. You can see the sheen from the overhead lights shining on the playfield there. Waxed. And remember, the parts that we painted, we clear coated over too with some spray paint. Spray clear coat. Which isn't the perfect way to do it, but on something like this, when you're kind of just doing the best you can, it works all right. So we kind of spot clear coated it. We didn't do the whole playfield. I think it turned out pretty nice. All new rings, all new bulbs. Cleaned all the plastics, cleaned all the posts, of course. Came out decent. I think at first glance, most people wouldn't be able to tell where we touched up. But you, the lucky viewer, know exactly where we touched up. But I'm pretty happy with this one, really. So that is that. What I'll do, look at this, so cool. What I'll do is I'll do another video on the back glass, because that's going to be a toughie. So stay tuned for that. And then whenever I'm finally done, I'll do yet another video. But by this time, you guys will be sick and tired of Spanish eyes. But I'll do another video just showing how the game plays and how the cabinet design and all that kind of stuff. So, but if you like videos like this, make sure to subscribe to us here. We have a shop in downtown Rock Hill, South Carolina, that is chock full of arcade games and several old pinball games. We only do the old ones. We don't do the DMD games usually. Just because it keeps the price down, basically. But you can stop by and see us, or you can check out our website. Go to lionsarcade.com. That's where we've got pictures of everything that we have for sale that's already finished right now. lionsarcade.com. And or you can stop by and see us. We're in downtown Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is about 15 minutes south of Charlotte, North Carolina. Just over the border a little bit. So stop by and see us, or if like we said, if you can't get by to see us, or you're not interested in buying an arcade game or a pinball machine, just subscribe to us here on YouTube. We have many more videos coming, so we will see you next video.